Shani. Welcome back. Just getting back from yoga and about to do a video. This is in collaboration with my good girlfriend, Jan Van. We are getting back on track with our collabs. I believe we will start our Copy Kitty videos next week, I think. But today we are both talking about the Undergrowth palette from Cosmic Beauty, formerly Cosmic Brushes. We're both giving our own opinions about the palette, doing looks and swatches. Now I am going to do swatches as well as talk about the descriptions of the shades, and I will let you know what is an eyeshadow and what is a pigment, because this palette is 20 pans and it has both eyeshadows and pressed pigments. So if you don't do well at pressed pigments, you might want to skip this one, because half of the shades are eyeshadows and half are pressed pigments. FYI. So I'm going to go ahead and do the swatches, and then I will do at least one look, but probably 2, 3. We'll see. Here we go. So, introducing Undergrowth, which is Cosmic Beauty's newest 20 pan pressed pigment and eyeshadow palette. So at the middle here we have the name of the palette with the Cosmic Beauty brand logo, and then at the bottom 20 color palette. So we do note that it is 20 shades. The palette is for the eye and the face. The ingredients are listed here, and there is information letting us know that there are pressed pigments in the palette, though they do say that right at the introduction and description of the palette itself, so you can't miss it unless you really try to. The way they describe it: with the most grungy, murky, and dirtiest of undertones, inspired by nature's undergrowth. There are 12 soft mattes and 8 dazzling shimmers with a range of finishes and textures. This palette contains 3 shifty shades. 2 of those are multi-chromes and 1 is a duochrome. So I will go over the shade name, how they describe it, whether or not it is an eyeshadow or a pressed pigment, as I'm doing the swatches. So this first shade is Vegetation. It is described as a cool toned sparkly metallic green, and this is an eyeshadow. Next is Herbarium, and this is described as a cool toned pastel pea green matte, and this is a pressed pigment. Next we have Algae, and this is described as a light lime green matte, and it is an eyeshadow. Fern is an olive green matte, and it is a pressed pigment. Wilderness is a green gold sparkly metallic, and it is an eyeshadow. It is also very pretty. Nettle is a dark grungy green matte, and it is a pressed pigment. Undergrowth is a high shine multi-chrome that shifts from deep green to brown to gold, and it is an eyeshadow. Murky is a dark khaki brown green matte, and it is a pressed pigment. Swamp is a muted foiled brown metallic, and it is a pressed pigment. It also has a bit of texture. Bark is a green black matte, and it is an eyeshadow. For space-saving purposes, I'm going to swatch the last 2 rows, so the last 10 shades on this side of my arm. Alright, so we are starting with Boggy. It is described as a foiled duochrome that shifts from a khaki green to a brown. Boggy is an eyeshadow. Roots is a soft camel brown matte with an olive undertone, and Roots is also an eyeshadow. Marsh is a murky mustard green matte, and it is a pressed pigment. Lichen is a bright, almost neon chartreuse matte, and it is a pressed pigment. Fireflies is a vibrant, smooth multi-chrome that shifts from yellow gold to a blue-green to a glowing red-orange. Fireflies is an eyeshadow. And also on the website, they put the instead of that, but that's okay. I'm not paid to edit. Clay is a mid-tone orange matte, and it is a pressed pigment. Fungi is a neutral muted gold metallic, and it is an eyeshadow. Reeds is a pastel pampas yellow matte, and it is an eyeshadow. Cordyceps is a muted brown metallic, and it is a pressed pigment. Lastly, Sludge is a terracotta brown red matte, or red matte brown. It is a pressed pigment. So let's just review everything. Vegetation is a cool tone, sparkly metallic green eyeshadow. Herbarium is a cool tone, pastel pea green matte pressed pigment. Algae is a light lime green matte eyeshadow. Fern is an olive green matte, and that is a pressed pigment. Wilderness is a green gold sparkly metallic eyeshadow. Nettle is a dark grungy green matte pressed pigment. Undergrowth is a high shine multi-chrome that shifts from deep green to brown to gold eyeshadow. Murky is a dark khaki brown green matte pressed pigment. Swamp is a muted foiled brown metallic pressed pigment. Bark is a green black matte eyeshadow. Boggy is a foiled duochrome that shifts from a khaki green to brown eyeshadow. Roots is a soft camel brown matte with an olive undertone eyeshadow. Marsh is a murky mustard green matte pressed pigment. Lichen is a bright, almost neon chartreuse matte pressed pigment. Fireflies is a vibrant, smooth multi-chrome that shifts from yellow gold to a blue-green to a glowing red-orange eyeshadow. Clay is a mid-tone orange matte pressed pigment. Fungi is a neutral muted gold metallic eyeshadow. Reeds is a pastel pampas yellow matte eyeshadow. Cordyceps is a muted bronze metallic pressed pigment. Sludge is a terracotta red-brown matte pressed pigment. So here are all the shades. It is half and half. There are 10 eyeshadows and 10 pressed pigments. So if you don't do well with pressed pigments, you will only be able to use half of the palette. But most of the metallics, duochromes, blah, 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 those are actually eyeshadows. So I don't know. You might want to think about that. So yeah, that gives you an idea of all the shades, how they look on my skin tone, and I will do at least one look. Okay, so now that we have the swatches done, I am going to do some looks. I have not planned anything, so I'm just gonna kind of go by, you know, what the makeup spirits lead me to do. But I will start with my Makeup by Mario eye prepping set. And I am going to keep using this cream side. Once I'm done with this side, then I'm just gonna head right over to the other one. Y'all, I was reading a news story that has really, really concerned me. Like, I am flabbergasted, and I am really questioning humans. I just read this story about this lady, and she wants to divorce her husband, which, you know, it happens, right? Not too surprising given, you know, the stats. But it's after 40 days and 40 nights. And the reason is because she said that he only bathes or showers like 1 to 2 times a month. She said he wears dirty clothes and he suffers from bad breath. When I tell you I cannot and I will not with this foolishness. You know what? It wouldn't even have taken me 40 days, okay? Like, it's been 2 days, sir. And wait. So he admitted, the husband admitted to, or is about to be the ex-husband, admitted to only bathing once or twice a month. But he said he cleanses himself by sprinkling holy water over him. There is no water that is holy enough to help you wash your ass. There is no water holy enough, okay? Obviously, who blessed this water? Because it's not working. Because she said you stink and you have bad breath and you're wearing dirty clothes. So where did you get this holy water? He probably got it from like Costco or like Walmart. I'm not okay with this. And I'm thinking, no, this is just a one-off. There are other people. There's this one lady who is trying to divorce her husband. Hold on. Let me find it, okay? Because I need to give you the correct number of times that he cleanses himself. Okay, so another one, a woman is divorcing her husband because he bathes once every 10 days. And a man is divorcing his wife because she bathes once a year. Y'all, when I tell you, I sat here thinking to myself, what on earth is happening? Now, I had to think through. Now, it doesn't say that they have any sort of mental health, mental illness or anything, mental health condition. It also doesn't say if they have any physical ailments, any religious adherence to any religious ideals, none of that. Because I was like, those could be the only things that would affect them. They are not allergic to water, which is actually a thing. Some people's bodies don't react well to water. I am just thinking of, listen, I cannot, okay? Ooh, yo. Oh, it makes me like shiver. Okay, maybe I can try to do something a bit more neutral. So why don't I start with, ooh, I can't define. Maybe I will use marsh and lichen and clay and sludge. I don't know. Let's just see what happens. I'll start with the lighter shade. Y'all, when I read this, I immediately, like, I stopped reading. I just can't. I will not engage with this because I don't know if you can understand my level of aghastedness. These people lasted much longer than me. 40 days? Girl, that's how long Jesus was up in the desert. We don't need to wait that long, okay? No. One of them, I think the man who does it every 10 days, I think he's like a plumber or something. The lady. A lot of us have like monthly periods. But she only bathed once a year? What are you doing the other 364 days? What are you doing? There is no way. I don't care if you don't sweat a lot. I don't care about nothing. There is no way that there is not some sort of strong scent or aroma or fumes coming off of your person. No way. No way. Now here's the thing. I can understand sometimes your hygiene diminishing because of like mental health conditions like depression. Sometimes people have a really hard time just doing their basic kind of upkeep. I ain't never met nobody in my entire life who only bathes once a year or once a month. And it's not even like they be washing up. They don't wash up. He puts on holy water. Like if it seemed like he just sprinkling. You know, have you ever been to the Catholic Church and they're just like boop? Could you imagine the way the bed smells or just the house, the couch? Is he sitting on stuff? Like, is he in a car? It cannot. He's nose blind. He don't smell himself. And the one who does it every 10 days, he's like, I really want to work on this marriage and I'm going to try to change my ways if my wife will just give me a chance. Try? Don't try, do. But even still, y'all, I'm so through. I am so through. If ever there was an extremely valid I almost want to go to law school, do my lawyering thing, become a judge, and grant this woman her divorce. I want to help her out because I would have no questions. No questions asked, ma'am. Divorce granted. Granted. Go about your business and leave this man alone. Or maybe if you know, they could get together. The lady who bathes once a year and the man who bathes twice a month. Or even the guy who's every 10 days. Because maybe that's better. But that's like that's like twice a month, right? And I think the lady who said, one of them was like, maybe the one who does once a month. One of them was like, he's taken like 4 or 5 baths over the course of being married, but that was because she was insisting on it. What are you doing that makes you not bathe your skin regularly? And what makes it worse is him talking about he used holy water. Girl, what y'all just be having buckets of holy water delivered to the house? Oh God, it's so disgusting. Oh, I think I'm gonna go into, what am I going into? I don't know. What am I doing here? And one of the stories, the magistrate is like, I'm gonna give y'all 2 months to figure this out. You will not, sir. I don't need any more time to figure this out. Grant my wishes. Tell this man to go about his business, okay? Ooh, maybe I'll use murky and nettle. I don't know. What do you think? What do you think? From what I know, there is nothing physically stopping them or inhibiting their ability to bathe. But also, how these spouses, how y'all hang on that long? Because the one where the lady does once a year, they've been together for like a decade. Are these people rich or something? Like, why are you staying around? What's happening? No. I don't think any of them have children. Ooh. I need you to wash every nook and cranny before we do anything intimate. Oh, God. Oh, like... It's not even that I can see you coming. I can smell you coming. How you gonna go in somebody's house being a plumber and just smelling like that? I almost refuse to believe it, but it's several stories, y'all. It's several of them. I'm just imagining you getting all hot and sweaty and you just sitting in that. Ew! Gross! Oh my God, so gross! Oh, I would not introduce anyone to this person. I don't even know him. He's some lodger in my house. I'm trying to get kicked out. Ew. Okay? Ew. I'm not here for it. Listen, you know what I would do? I would take them right outside, plug up the hose, and just spray them down. I'm going to spray you down. Stand over there, and I'm going to spray you down with this hose. Turn around. We got to get all the spots. I'm going to just put some soapy water in a bucket and just dump it on your head. Like... I'm also trying to figure out why ain't nobody tell these people to leave sooner. Like, girl, once you hit like 20 days, like, once you hit like 20 days, like, why are we still here? Why are we still here? Not even a good 5 days. Cause I'm like, maybe something going on. The most I could stretch myself to being like supportive. I don't even know. 5 days probably. 5 days at the most. And not only are they not bathing, but they're not brushing their teeth. That's not good. Teeth issues, you could die. Because, like, I don't know why. Erica would know because she worked in the dental field. But I don't think you could be doing that with your teeth. God help them and help us all. Let me never encounter somebody who has that nerve. And then you trying to talk about we married and you trying to push up on me. Do not touch me. I'm gonna go in with splurge. I am... Honestly, when I read that, I sat here for a couple minutes and just contemplated life. Because no, I will not, and I cannot. I will not. You can't even sponge bath. The bottoms of your feet are probably so black and dusty. Your fingernail, underneath your fingernails. Ooh, your neck. Ew. Don't even talk about any of the other places that you supposed to wash. Girl. One bead of sweat and I'm like, let me go get in the shower. I couldn't do it. I could not. Because what, I'm going to hold my breath for a year? Waiting for you to come around and jump. And then when you get in that bathtub or in that shower, you going to turn the water black. All that dirt just going to be... It probably not even going to come off easily. You're going to have to scrub. What would you do? I know most of us wouldn't last that long. I don't think we would. And if there is something medically going on, I would have a better reaction. But I can tell you that they didn't mention anything. This is by choice. This is by choice that they're doing this. Okay? This is by choice. Whew. That just took me all the way out. Let me put on some foundation and stuff and like, I need to, maybe I need a little bit of holy water. Okay, so first look done, all matte. I love an all matte look. I really like that the colors blend very easily with one another. I like that the mattes aren't patchy. And let's see what I used, because I used quite a few things. I used these two shades here, Marsh and Lichen. I also used Nettle, and I think I used Fern, and I used Splurge. Oop, did I just poke it? Yeah, so I used quite a few shades, and I'm wondering if I can do, I might do another matte look, but try to avoid the very obvious greens, just to see if this is versatile enough to be different. Okay, tried to take most of that off. I also did not put on mascara because that would make it harder to take the shades off. So once I do my very last look, I will do that. All right, so going back into my Makeup by Mario eye prepping set. If I didn't say before, this is the deep version. There's another story. So I read something about a 36-year-old quote-unquote doctor. You know, there are so many people out there who are pretending to be doctors, which is very upsetting. Like, not okay. Scary. All of the above. And so he's 36. And he was said to perform delicate procedures. So I'm like, what are those? And also, he's been doing it for 20 years. Now, you didn't hear incorrectly. He's 36 and has been doing this for 20 years. So he started when he was 16. He started performing penis enlargement procedures in his townhouse for $150 to $600. And I think he does like 3 a month. Yeah, no medical treatment. This is not a Doogie Howser kind of situation. Some of y'all are old enough to remember Doogie Howser. This is not, but Doogie went to med school. This is not a Doogie Howser situation. He just said that he learned how to do it. He taught himself how to conduct the delicate procedures when he was a teenager. And he was advertising his services via social media. I am so sorry, but I don't know that I would encourage anyone to seek out a doctor performing these delicate procedures in their home after having just advertise on social media. No. Now, I can't say that I'm always like looking through the, files to make sure such and such doctor is like board certified or something. I can't say that I do that for every doctor, And it's probably not good for any of us to go under the assumption that people are actually who they say they are. But I just feel like with such a delicate procedure, you might want to just make sure that all is right and well. And why are we doing it in your townhouse? Where? The kitchen? The bathroom? The basement? Where is this occurring? No one thought to ask a question when you pull up to the cul-de-sac. Okay. But it seems like he's only ever had one complaint. So I'm guessing that he's actually pretty good at it. And he only went up to 9th grade. How did he learn? How did he teach himself? I guess, everything's on the internet. You could probably go ahead and type it into YouTube and you'll come up with something. But he been doing it for 20 years. Seeing 2 to 3 people a month. I don't want to know about his sterilization of tools practices. I don't want to know anything else. I want to go into roots. Have you heard anything like this? Now I have read stories, many stories about people pretending to be doctors, people pretending to be psychiatrists and prescribing meds. All of that is bad. But for some reason, the ones who be performing surgeries, those feel worse. And also how the ones who somehow get jobs in hospitals, how? Y'all don't be checking references. You don't be looking to see if those CVs are actually real and not just copy pasted from Google. How? Stop. No. Okay, I don't think I used clay the last time, so I'm going to go ahead and use that. And the way that they, I guess, caught him or whatever is they did like a sting operation. They had an undercover agent come in and pretend to be a potential patient. And once he went in for his said procedure, then, the authorities kind of swarmed in. Was he living in this townhouse by himself? Because when he was 14, 15, 16, where was he performing these surgeries? So, you know what? I feel like he probably got all his accoutrement off of Amazon. So last time we talked about you can get a full-on body bag from Amazon. I bet you can get like a medical kit from there too. You know, they like to make sure that they're selling everything. No, this scares me, okay? It scares me that people will come through and just go ahead and do any and everything, teach themselves, like, maybe he's really smart though, you know? Like, does he have a nurse or like some sort of physician's assistant or like, okay. So does he have an anesthesiologist? Because you need anesthesia for that, right? Maybe you only need local. Where do they recover? Why are y'all going to a townhouse to get a member enlargement surgery? Nobody thought that this was weird. Did they drive there themselves? Because I would assume that they would have to have somebody drive them to and fro, right? Like, I feel like we're missing some things. And he's just been charged with practicing without a medical license. I don't even know if that, like, if he'll get much time. Especially since there haven't really been any complaints. There's just one. So it's leading me to think that he was pretty good. Two decades. 2 decades. 2 decades is how long he has been practicing performing these delicate procedures without a medical license. Okay, this is a really nice, super neutral, natural look that you can do with this palette. If you're not wanting to go full out with color, you want to use some of the more muted shades. So I'm just gonna like put some eyeliner on and then, okay, so here is matte look number 2. Now I did go in with reeds. No, there we go. Just to blend things out up here. It's definitely a shade that doesn't show up well on me. Yeah, but it's not terrible. And I just added some eyeliner, this Natasha Denona Macro Tech Eye Crayon in brown. And that's it. Very simple. Now let's get into some of the shimmers and multichromes and duochromes. I already primed my eyes with the Makeup by Mario Eye Prep and Set. And I'm going to go into... What am I going to go into, peeps? I remember really liking Wilderness and Fireflies. So, why don't I start with, no. I'll start with Wilderness. I'm going to use my finger. You can see that shade, and then pop it on. Goes on very easily, especially with a finger. For those of you who don't like using fingers, let me use a brush. Goes on well with a brush also. I think it's better to tap the shade on rather than swipe, but you can do whatever you want to. I do like a brush to get closer into the inner corner of my eye, but typically I like to apply shimmers, multichromes, everything like that with a finger. I feel like you get a bit more opacity right away. Yeah. Very pretty. Let's see how things layer. That cat was here 2 seconds ago. Let's see how things layer. I'm gonna get a shade that maybe allows some contrast. So vegetation. Let me see that. I don't know if you can see it. Hopefully you can. You know what? Maybe I won't put a matte on for this look. So I do really like an all shimmer look. I want to add another one. Really looking at fireflies, but I think I'll save that for another look. Maybe this one here that is Swamp, because that seems to be a deeper shimmer. And let's put it here on the outer edge. So really easy all shimmer look. Now, I don't really like putting shimmers on my lash line. Just, I don't want things in my eye. And especially wearing contacts, things can just adhere to them, and we're not here for that. So maybe I will use one of the mattes just as a liner, or actually, no, I'll use an eyeliner. Maybe we can do like a little bit of color. So here is the Shockwave Metallic Eyeliner from LA Girl in the shade. It's in a shade. Yeah, it's right somewhere on here. I'm just not seeing it. But it's blue. See how that goes. Okay. Another, I think, simple look. I like the way the blue metallic liner goes with everything. And I think now it's time to really, you know, get into it and do something, you know? So that will maybe be the last look. So this time I'm going to use my Divina Specular Primer. This is a sparkle and shimmer glue base because I really want to allow any of the shimmers I use to be able to adhere well. So I'm just going to put it here, pat it in. They also have another primer, eyeshadow primer, that's pretty much a regular one. Pre-Illusion, I believe it's called. Okay. Now, the shade I've been itching to use is Fireflies. Oh, look how pretty it is. Okay, tell me what you think of this story. This guy in New York, went to the, what is it, the Museum of Ice Cream, I think it's called. Has anyone been? I know I have clients that have gone, but I haven't managed to go. Anyway, so there is a like sprinkle pit. Remember at like Chuck E. Cheese's and like at different, before like different McDonald's and stuff, there will be the ball pit. Well, the Museum of Ice Cream has a sprinkle pit. Now, here's the thing. the guy, he went with his daughter, and he saw like the different signs that are, well, let's back up. There are signs around the sprinkle pit that are like, you know, don't run, jump, don't jump into the sprinkles, don't eat them, blah, blah, blah. But he says that there was some advertising in like 2019 where the museum had on their like social media, like, jump into the fun, blah, 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 blah. So Dude jumped in. And the thing is, the sprinkle pit for like an adult sized person, it only comes up to your ankles. And for like a kid sized person, it might be up to like their calves. But he just went and jumped in, and well, he hurt himself. He like fractured his ankle and says that it's gonna be like long lasting medical issues and blah blah blah. And he's suing them. Now, initially I was like, nobody told you to do that. But then when I saw that he said that the advertising from 2019 was that you should dive in, jump in, blah, 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 I was like, okay, I can kind of understand that. But then again, a sign across from the pit says, don't run, don't dive, don't eat the sprinkles. Also, they have to sign a, what is it called? What's that thing called? The thing that you have to sign to basically a waiver. Everyone has to sign a waiver saying that there is a risk of injury and or death. And so a lot of the people, I guess, that were there and that were asked about it, a lot of them are like, well, he should have looked at the sign, or he should have taken responsibility to figure out, like, he should have dipped his toe in first or something, or he should have seen that other people kind of hurt themselves, but it's his responsibility. Now, I don't know if he's gonna win this one because he did sign a waiver and it does say not to jump in or whatever, and apparently the social media stuff was like years ago. You know what? Let's use the namesake of the palette, Undergrowth. So, I don't know. Initially, I was like, okay, I'll give it to you. That, yeah, if they said it on their social media, you know, oopsies. But it's from 2019, and also you signed a waiver, and furthermore, there are signs telling you not to jump in. So what are you going to believe? The current things that you see, or are you going to believe what they said on Twitter/X like 5 years ago? I would say I'm going to believe what it says now, but I don't know. What do you think? Do you think that he has a chance? I don't know. I'm gonna go into Bark, which seems to be the deepest shade in the palette. So I don't know. There hasn't been a ruling or anything yet. I feel like it could go either way, but I'm kind of thinking that that social media thing was so long ago. I don't know. That's can you go off of something that was posted 5 years ago? You didn't go 5 years ago. You went in 2024. He probably just feels stupid. Thank God he didn't cannonball in. So here is the final look, and I really like it. Now, I will say that this palette performs just as well as all of the other Cosmic Beauty palettes. If you don't have any of them, just an idea, the mattes blend with each other very well. They show up very well. Some of the shades, if they are much lighter, they won't show up as well on a deeper skin tone. They might be a bit ashen, a bit ashier, but I will say that most of the shades do show up, and that is kind of like all of the palettes. And this one, most of them do show up. This one here is that reads, that's a little light on me. You can't really see it, but everything else is pretty good. Now, this is a green palette, okay? So if you don't like green, you want to avoid this because you're not going to get much variety outside of like mustardy yellow, green, a little bit of gold. So there are other Cosmic Beauty palettes that have a bit more variety in terms of color and tone. I would say, to me, this is one that is just very focused on green. Also, there are, out of the 20 shades, half are eyeshadows and the other half are pressed pigments. So that's something to think about as well if you're not a fan of pressed pigments. But if that is true, then you probably don't have other Cosmic Beauty palettes or some other indie brands, because a lot of them do have pressed pigments. The rules are just a little different in the US of A in terms of pressed pigments and using them near the eye. I think that is it. I hope that some of this was helpful, and I also hope that you are continuing to take care of yourself. Don't forget to head over to Jan's channel. You probably already have, but she is going to have an amazing look. I already know, because Jan is so talented. So if you want more of a focus on look, go over to her. If you want more of a focus on swatches, come on over to me. Anyway, I would love it if you liked the video, and I would love it even more if you subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.